Hello, welcome back to the last, and yeah, I mean it's the last JM Football Power Rankings with myself and Dalton Philly. Dalton, I'm a little sad. I mean, I'm excited for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Excited to watch one more football game, and you know what? This football season's been a grind, so I'm excited to have a little bit of a break from it. What's nice about football is that it doesn't stop with free agency and the draft, so technically football never stops, but I am pretty sad that this is the last time that at least we'll be doing this show weekly.
Yeah, for the time being, man. It's very upsetting. NFL is the best drama. It just keeps on going. Man, it's exciting Super Bowl rematch of Super Bowl 54, Chiefs-Niners. That'll be fun. But yeah, guys, everyone watching, we appreciate you tuning in each week, watching us talk about the power rankings, argue about it, throw some facts your way, have some laughs. So thanks for watching. We're going to, keep talking ball during the offseason. Penik, thanks for letting me come on and talk with you and, having a blast.
Whether you've disagreed with us, whether you've called us idiots, whether you've agreed with us, we appreciate you watching. And I would like if you can like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. That's my ask.
Why not?
That's my ask. I feel a little bit more intimate with our Power Rankings audience. I recently have been doing a lot of research into how is the channel grown and stuff like that. Like 80% of our watch time from this channel is from people that aren't subscribed. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that kind of crazy?
That's kind of nuts.
So I would like if you could subscribe, comment on the video.
Last power rankings of the 2023 NFL season. Why not like and
Spoiler
subscribe
alert,
and comment?
There's only 2 teams left.
What? In the Super Bowl?
So, the power
No
rankings,
way.
Power rankings don't really mean too much. So,
Right.
Dalton, let's just go through it. We have the Lions at 4. All these teams had great seasons. We have the Ravens at 3. The 49ers are at 2.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs are at 1. Jeff, a little side note. If we can put the final 32 power rankings, if you could put all the teams, it's here now. Now. If you could put all the 32 teams so people can see where we had everybody kind of finish off. We're only going to talk about, obviously, the top 4. But mainly this will be a Super Bowl preview.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Got him.
There's actually a Coke in the fridge. I'm wondering where it came from. Dalton, these games felt like a million years ago because I went to Mobile, Alabama.
Spoiler.
For the Senior Bowl. You're starting to get into talking baseball prep and spring training prep. I feel like these conference championship games happened a million years ago.
Yeah.
Any final notes on the Lions and the Ravens? We'll spend like a minute or two on it.
Let's start chronologically. Ravens-Chiefs game was first on a championship weekend. Ravens, man, so many missed opportunities. Fantastic season, 1 seed. And then what sucks is the narrative about Lamar Jackson not winning a playoff game. Though he won a playoff game in the division, he'll continue, which I hate. I hate that narrative. He's a special player, soon to be 2-time MVP. I think the craziest thing of that game, Mike McDonald, now Seahawks head coach, was the Ravens defense coordinator. Does a fantastic job. The Chiefs scored 0 points in the second half of that game, but no one talks about it because the Ravens only put up 10. Doesn't matter. You're losing on that scoreboard. And my other note is the Ravens, 6 carries by a running back. A team that's been one of the best, if not the best, rushing offense in the NFL this season. Does not give the ball to Gus Edwards, does not give the ball to Justice Hill. Primarily a passing team versus Spags defense, and it didn't work out in their game plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be one of the main things that we're going to talk about with how the 49ers need to beat the Chiefs. Chiefs are very, very good pass defense, but they're pretty susceptible on the ground in light boxes and in heavy boxes. So Ravens definitely didn't stick with that. Zay Flowers really costed them, the fumble.
The taunting penalty.
The taunting penalty and then the fumble.
Yeah, double whammy.
You thought that he was going to make up for it. And then boom. So I thought that was the big turning point of the game.
For sure.
Lamar made some awesome plays, and then he also made some not awesome plays. And that's unfortunately...
The triple coverage pick was really bad.
Yeah, man. Really bad. Unfortunately... You know who's jogging on that play, by the way?
Don't even mention his name. Why are we mentioning his name?
Do you know who... you know what?
I don't even have to guess. I will.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Thanks to me, Coke again. It's 2.
jogging on that play.
Right.
And... because he's and this is Bobby Skinner's nice theory as we were watching and streaming the game. He's jogging and he's giving a half-ass effort on the route. So the safety, it's like, okay, well, you're not relevant this play. So the safety drops back and Lamar should have never thrown the ball. But instead of double coverage where maybe your guy could go up and make a play, you're throwing into triple coverage. And that's why that extra safety dropped back. Doesn't excuse Lamar Jackson, but any chance I get to shit on Odell Beckham Jr. and how much of a waste of a contract that was and how if any team is smart, they shouldn't be giving him a substantial amount of money. There you go. That's my anti-Odell propaganda continues.
Justin, do you want to talk about the Lions versus the Niners game? About the Lions 2023 season. The roar has been restored in Detroit. Any last notes from Detroit?
That really hurt.
Yeah.
That really hurt, man. Actually, I lied. We were live for this game, but Bobby Skinner and I were watching the Chiefs-Ravens game together.
Yeah.
We were live for this game, and dude, it's like, all right, well, the Lions are going to do it. It's a very similar feeling where you watch the 49ers against the Packers, where it's like the Packers are just a better team. And then the 49ers somehow pull it out. And that matters in the postseason. You know, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, when it comes down to those final drives, can you play better ball in the fourth quarter than the other team? Can you keep it close enough, which obviously the 49ers definitely 100% can. Lions had that game.
Yeah.
Lions had that game, and I just remember feeling very bad for the city of Detroit going on that run, falling in love with that team and those group of guys. And it felt like they deserved to win, but can't finish it at the end.
You know what? There's one note I want to say about that game. Everyone was talking about earlier after the championship game about going for it on fourth down. Dan Campbell, why are you doing that? Why not kick the field goal? That's what this team was based on. They always, I don't want to say always. They were since the last 2 years, they have the most fourth down attempts in football. That's what their team is based on, being aggressive, being going for it in those situations.
Was it Reynolds that dropped huge passes?
The decision to go for it shouldn't have been the issue. It was the execution of the play. The play call worked. The decision to go for it worked. Josh Reynolds dropped the ball. And you know what? That's football, where a human, even though the decision-making process was correct, a human on the field, the player, makes a drop. It happens.
Yeah.
I just want to give some love to that whole coaching staff, especially offensively. Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell. Going for it was the right call. It just didn't work out in their way. And it did give momentum to the Niners. I will say that. But that's what their team is based on. They stayed to their morals, even if it didn't work out. I respect the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. Reynolds had a couple big drops. So feel bad for the Lions, but I think they showed a graphic of how many games or snaps or whatever's been played in a championship game. 49ers versus the Lions. When you look at, say, your stat.
I think it was like 7 or 8.
Which is great just for the Lions, right?
Yeah, just for the Lions.
And then how many hundreds of snaps or whatever?
I think it was games, not snaps.
But I mean, just a lot of games on that roster that have been played. They've played in championship games. So, you can even summarize this postseason as the two most experienced teams in the postseason over the last couple of years, 49ers and the Chiefs. They're meeting up in the Super Bowl, and that stuff does matter.
Niners fourth. They made it to their fourth conference championship over the last 5 years. Very impressive. 3 straight. This time they win one. They had lost 2 in a row. They get back to the Lombardi land, if you will, the Super Bowl, which is awesome. Chiefs, this has become the New England Patriots of the Tom Brady Belichick era. This is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Kansas City Chiefs now. They have become the quote-unquote dynasty. If they win here, that's now 3 for Mahomes and the Chiefs. You start talking about the GOAT talk, but you got to play the game first, right? And so we're going to be previewing the Niners and the Chiefs in this Super Bowl. I wanted to toss it to you because Chiefs, Niners, obviously postseason successes on both ends. What's like your go-to looking at this game? What's the one thing you're like, wow, this stands out of who's going to win this game?
Well, I have the Chiefs winning. Do you also have the Chiefs winning?
I also have the Chiefs winning, but it is like an asterisk. If Bobby Skinner takes the Chiefs, I'm taking the Niners.
No.
Because it's because we're tied. We can't end on a tie.
You know what? This
That's
is
soft.
true.
No ties.
Are we tied for this postseason? Our records win-loss?
Me and Bobby are tied.
Am I winning? Am I ahead of everybody? Probably not.
So I have the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. You can't bet on Mahomes. I've done it once. I'm not going to do it again. So.
But if Bobby Skinner bets Chiefs,
I'm going Niners.
Who I think he is
contrarian.
Who I think he is going with the. I mean, let's find out. I mean, I'm going to call him.
You're going to call him? That's crazy.
Calling him right now.
If he doesn't answer, we're cutting this.
I think we will. We're going to talk about what's key. Like, I'm way more enticed with how the 49ers could possibly, like, how they could win than the Chiefs can, because the Chiefs formula is simple. Bobby Skinner, you're live on the Power Ranking Show. Who are you going for this Sunday to win the Super Bowl? I think you're going 49ers, correct?
Rooting for or picking?
Who are you picking?
I picked 49ers over Chiefs to start the season, so I'm going to stick with that, even though I don't think Mahomes.
I love that. You picked Niners Chiefs to begin the season, and it's here? That's crazy.
But you're rooting for Mahomes?
Yeah, I'm kind of rooting for the dynasty.
Rooting for the dynasty.
Dynasties are fun. You love them or hate them.
All right, thank you, Bobby Skinner.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right, so there you go. So now you're going.
I'm going Chiefs.
You're
Lock
going
it
Chiefs.
in.
All
Let's
right,
go.
perfect. Figure that out. Andrew can make the graphic now.
He wants the scores too.
Oh, sugar.
Don't call him back. Don't. We're not doing that.
I was putting the timer back up.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you threw it to me. Let's talk ball. Catch.
Nice.
But that's not what I want the 49ers to do. The 49ers need to run the ball, and they need to run the ball in the first half, where the Chiefs' defensive performance against the run this year is not very good. Not very good. Yards per carry in light boxes, they've allowed 4.93 yards per carry. And when they've shown up with heavy boxes, they still allow 3.83 yards per carry, which is 19th best. Their performance yards per carry in light boxes was 28th. EPA per rush was last in light boxes, and EPA per rush in heavy boxes is 22nd. So they're not a very, very good run defense.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people have talked about, Christian McCaffrey, and I've been one of them. Like, I don't think Christian McCaffrey has gotten the ball enough over the playoffs. Not necessarily true. 20 attempts versus the 20 rush attempts against the Lions and 17 rush attempts against Packers. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's just
That's
like
above average.
the flow of how he gets it. It's a very bulk-heavy approach with him.
And what I'm going to go with here is the Green Bay game. 9 attempts for 33 yards. That's 3.7 yards per carry.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey against the Lions. 10 attempts in the first half. 10 attempts, 29 yards. That's 2.9 yards per carry.
Slow starts.
In the game, he ended up with, against Detroit, 4.5 yards per attempt, and against Green Bay, 5.8 yards per attempt. So that second half, clearly, in those two games, 90 yards and 98 yards respectively, he finished off with, and also 2 rushing touchdowns each of those games, while also having 11 catches. Christian McCaffrey is the key to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And which, hey, for me, that's all about explosive plays, and, this is a QB-driven league, which I do, man, I hate to say this because I'm usually of the pass sets up the run. I do think if you can find success on the ground with Christian McCaffrey in the first half, maybe rip off a few explosives. Even though the Chiefs defense is kind of bad against the run, they're pretty good at stopping the explosive run play. Okay. If the 49ers but the 49ers are just so good at ripping off explosive plays with McCaffrey, if they can find first half success with McCaffrey, I think that will set up the explosive pass play that they have. It could set up play action. It could set up Debo. It could set up George Kittle. I think it will set everything else up if they can run the ball successfully in the first half. If the 49ers don't get off to a fast start, because we know the Chiefs can get off to a fast start, if they're looking at the game script and it's 13-3 and it's even 10-0 in the first quarter to the second quarter, that game script is not ideal for the 49ers, and the Chiefs will take advantage of it because guess what? They will run the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, going off of that point, the Niners need to get off to a hot start because, quite frankly, they have not done that this entire postseason.
Right.
Divisional game versus Green Bay. Green Bay elects to receive the ball. They score a field goal on their opening drive at halftime. The score is a whopping 7-6 game. 7-6 game. And Green Bay has the lead through the third quarter at 21-14. You go to the Detroit Lions conference championship game, 24-7 at half. Lions have a massive lead. They also get the ball to start the game. They also score on their first drive. Jameson Williams' 42-yard run, which was absolutely electric and hilarious to see. So we've seen these Niners struggle to open up in these playoff games, and you are facing against Lamborghini Mahomes, Maserati Mahomes, Ferrari Mahomes, however you want, whatever car you want to describe as Patrick Mahomes. They are electric as an offense, even with their skill players not being the most electric and flashy players. Mahomes in that Chiefs offense finds a way to get off to those hot starts, which is vital. Have an early lead. So when we're talking about the 49ers offense, maybe, do I dare say, potentially receive the ball to open up the game, control the ball, keep Mahomes on the sideline, have a long drive, very similar to that Green Bay game where Green Bay had the ball for like the first 8.5 minutes on their first drive. Keep Mahomes on the sideline. Your best chance of winning is making sure Patrick Mahomes doesn't touch the field quite often. And when he does, he makes his mistakes and force him to make those mistakes because he feels like he's pressured and rushed to.
Right. And we're talking about how the 49ers offense needs to get off to a fast start because of the Chiefs offense. It's not only because of that, but if you do get down early against the Chiefs and you become one-dimensional and you throw the ball, this Chiefs defense is a very, very good pass defense. They're very, very good. And it is the best pass defense that the 49ers have seen this playoffs.
And a couple
Joe
of
Barry
corners.
is gone. Joe Barry, who I'm actually glad. I know Joe Barry had a great game. Like, he had a great game against Mahomes in the regular season. They had a nice little playoff run there, and they still played the 49ers really well. I'm glad Joe Barry's gone, because Joe Barry against bad offenses got ripped the fuck apart. I'm glad he's gone, and I've ranted about him. I'm pretty sure on this Power Ranking show before. I'm kind of glad that he's gone.
Right.
I know, hey, good coordinator against good teams, which that's totally valuable. It's totally necessary. But Joe Barry's gone.
Yeah.
And we've had our critiques of the Lions defense for the last 2 years.
And I've been on that rant with the Aaron
for the last 2 years. And what's everybody saying about the Chiefs' offense this year? The Chiefs' offense is having a down year. Guess what really got them here? It's their defense. Yeah. It's their defense. Mahomes has had a phenomenal postseason, and I've marveled at what he's been able to do and the plays that he's been able to make. He even made some more jaw-dropping plays in the AFC Championship game, but it's that pass defense that's really got them there.
100%, man. Especially when you have guys like L'Jarius Sneed. When you have guys like L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie in that secondary, especially at cornerback, when you have a guy who can go against your best receiver in L'Jarius Sneed, and you have a slot guy potentially in Trent McDuffie playing really well too. Plus you have Chris Jones as a pass rush. You have a great linebacking core. And with Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, Leo Chanel. I know you love your guy, Leo Chanel. Had to shout him out.
And Nick Bolton. Yeah.
Juan Thornhill at safety. Like, they have guys at every level, and Spags has done a really good job. This Chiefs defense, too, one of the things that really stood out to me, fourth quarter defense through the playoffs. 0 points versus Miami. 0 points versus Buffalo. 3 points versus Baltimore. So they've given up 3 points in the fourth quarter through their 3 games in the playoffs this year. Spags has these guys ready. Late game situations in these playoffs, they make these plays. They prevent the opposing offense to score. And obviously that's, Dalton, obviously his team's got to score to win. He's preventing them from doing that. It's plain and simple. Fourth quarter, not letting teams to score, you're going to win a game.
That's true. Yeah, so I think if the game script presents itself similar to how it's presented the 49ers throughout these playoffs, and it's like 24-7, and or whatever, they're down by multiple scores, like they have been this postseason, they're not coming back.
I dare say it, I shall. I think this is going to be, I don't want to say snore of a Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be a close one.
Unless the 49ers are down, because this is really, I think, partially what's happened. The 49ers are down.
Yep.
Opposing defenses are expecting them to pass. They give them light boxes. Christian McCaffrey goes off.
Yeah.
That's what's happened.
Take away the defenses for a second, which obviously you can't, but I'm going to. It's very funny how these two teams are set up. And I don't want to minimize Travis Kelce here.
Okay.
It is the Chiefs, they're led by a superstar quarterback. Right? And the Niners
I love where you're going with this.
Are set up by superstar skill players and talent around the quarterback. Right?
Right.
So to me, the biggest, I don't want to say question marks, but the storyline is Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, who's played great and is a good quarterback. I do not want to see anything against him. Yeah. Can he elevate his game versus this Chiefs defense?
He hasn't played great this postseason.
No, but he's been great this regular season.
He's played great in spots.
Yeah. He hasn't made mistakes late in games to cost his team. The Chiefs, their skill players outside of Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice is starting to break out. Like, there's been some question marks all year. Can they step up versus this Niners defense? Both very good units defensively. Who's going to step up? Brock Purdy or the Chiefs skill players?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to me, which is kind of nuts. But
these two teams played in the 2019 season, but the 2020 Super Bowl, right? It was right
2019 Super Bowl.
It was right before COVID.
Yep. Bill Vinovich was the ref in both those games. Oh, the script was leaked. Oh, sorry, had to.
You and your refs.
I love my refs.
Remember the debate that year was run the damn ball versus throw the damn ball?
Yeah.
Remember there was just that huge debate. Take me back to those days.
Stop.
Was rooting for Mahomes so hard in that Super Bowl just to be right.
Well,
and nobody is right.
Nobody's ever right. Damian Williams should have been MVP.
Wow.
Should have.
If 49ers win this game, Christian McCaffrey is MVP. If the Chiefs win this game, Patrick Mahomes is MVP. Yes?
Yeah, makes sense. I do want to ask, who is your defensive guy? If there's one player we're watching on both teams' defense, because we like giving love to the offense. We're very much the 2023 NFL guys who give a lot of props to offense and talk about the defense, but we love our offense. Plain and simple. It's just how it is. Who are your guys to watch?
I mean, do you want one on each side?
One on each team. Putting you on the spot here.
I mean, I want to go with Chris Jones.
You can, yeah. Even if it's a big name, that's fine. He's a game wrecker.
I want to go with Chris Jones.
Chris Jones?
Double-digit tackles for loss. 1 QB hit away from being 30 QB hits. Him and George Karlaftis both have 10.5 sacks this year. I mean, just the way that Chris Jones uses his hands. And I'm going to be really interested to see how the 49ers, their interior offensive line is not very good.
Yeah, they've had their problems all year.
I want Chris Jones versus Aaron Banks, and it's not really like a shot at Aaron Banks, but I'm not putting. The Chiefs have been very good at putting Chris Jones on the edge and making him versatile.
Sure.
This is a game where I'm like, put Chris Jones in the interior. Put him in the interior.
Okay.
There shouldn't. I get a little frustrated sometimes on NFL teams because it's like, look at this big time pass rusher going up against this big time tackle. Yeah. I want to see them going up against each other. Woo. I don't want to see a single snap of Chris Jones and Trent Williams.
You're the Chiefs. Why even do that?
Right.
Why?
So I'm putting Chris Jones in the interior. I'm putting him on the center. If John Feliciano, I don't know I just know him because he's a former
Giant legend.
If John Feliciano is going to be playing, if he's going to be starting, whether that be at center or at guard, put Chris Jones up against those guys and let him eat.
Okay.
But also, if you're the 49ers, how are you going to get Brock Purdy away from that? Which they're also very good at.
I do want to say for the Chiefs defense, I'll bounce it. We'll go back and forth. Chiefs defense for me, the group I want to watch is the linebacking core. Because I mentioned how great they are. They're very athletic. Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, and Leo Chanel. 3 solid. And Drew Tranquil, too. I don't even forget about him. Yeah. Like a very solid unit. You have George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. So you know how CMC can run the ball. We're talking about in the second half.
With the eye candy, pre-snap motion.
Eye candy, lots of motion. Take some in the middle of the field. Lots of yak, too, which obviously the Chiefs offense, I believe I saw a stat, could be wrong, so don't roast me in the comments. I think yak this year was led by Mahomes, not Purdy, which is kind of like something you wouldn't think of.
Yak?
Yards after catch, like yards.
You said, you mean
like yards,
Mahomes?
Passing yards
acquired
by yak. Yeah, sorry. But going back to linebackers, my player to watch, Nick Bolton, last year had the fumble recovery for a touchdown. I'm gonna go with him again. I don't know if he has a play like that, but he's the star of that linebacking core. I really like Willie Gay, but at the same time, Nick Bolton's been their guy. I know he was hurt this year. I think George Kittle is a guy. I picked him for the touchdown draft. Spoiler alert. But if you can minimize George Kittle's impact and Christian McCaffrey in the passing game and running game and force Ayuk and Debo and Purdy to make play, I think that works in the Chiefs' favor. There's just so many guys on that Niners offense, man. Skill players, there's 4 guys that you have to watch out. 1 at each position at least. It's crazy. Jawan Jennings is going to have a big third down catch. It's going to happen. It's going to be like a 3rd and 9.
Jawan Jennings is going to throw a huge block.
CMC run.
I'm going to get really excited about it. You were wrong, by the way.
Oh, I was wrong? So, see, that's why I said roast me in the comments. Who is it, Purdy?
0.4. Was 6.7 yards after the catch per completion. This is according to Pro Football Reference. There are people that track it differently. Like
I was going to say,
PFF may track it differently.
Is efficient-wise, okay.
Yards after the catch per completion, or you were just talking about raw, not like raw yards after the catch?
Yeah, because that also goes into effect that Mahomes probably threw the ball more.
Right. So yards after the catch per completion, Purdy has 6.7, Mahomes has 6.3, but 2,054 Purdy has, and Patrick Mahomes, let's see if you're really right here, Mahomes does have 2,500 yards, so has 500 more yards total yards after the catch. However, I would say yards after the catch per completion is
more efficient.
Important.
Absolutely.
It's more important. I'm a big rate guy.
Offense. Chiefs, Niners. I can't speak. Defense. We talked about the Chiefs defense. Niners defense. Who's your standout guy?
Whoever's tasked with covering Travis Kelce. You know what's crazy, though? Kelce doesn't run the play.
What do you mean?
Kelce just goes where he just goes where he feels like he's going to get open. Like that's why like NFL people that like I was listening to Bobby talk about this before we started streaming. Mm-hmm. Where it's like Kelce just like, he follows NFL people and he looks at film stuff where it's like, yeah, Kelce's wide open on this play because this is not a concept. This is just Travis Kelce going where he, knowing the defense, which is good for him, good for Travis Kelce. You got to, him and Mahomes have such rapport that Travis Kelce could run a completely different route to a completely different area of the field where he knows he's going to be open based on the look that the defense is giving. And Mahomes also will find him. So, I mean,
crazy connection. The chemistry's crazy.
I don't know how you cover whether it's zone, do you double, because even when you double him. Do you double him? Do you triple? Because he's still going to get open.
Yeah.
He's still going to find a way to get open. Because you're not going to show the same look every snap. So then Kelce's going to know what you're doing, and then he's going to get open. So that's the biggest key. I mean, do the 49ers have a big, like, this is what I found has worked in the past. Do the 49ers almost have like a big physical corner that they can just put on Travis Kelce?
Lenore is a pretty big guy out of Oregon. I don't think he's
That's what's worked in the past.
Like Ward's big. Ward's like 6'1", 200, and that's going to be my standout. I'll talk about in a second. I think Dominic Lenore, I can't say his name right. I'm out of Diamador Lenore. No, I'm mixing him up. He's 205, so he's a big guy, but he's 5'11", so he's not big enough. Off of the cornerbacks, though, let's see if they use Charvarius Ward that way. My point was going to be he has 5 interceptions this year. He led the league in pass deflections via PFR, Pro Football Reference. He had a really great year. Former Kansas City Chief. So you have a little bit of a quote-unquote revenge game, if you will.
It's not a quote-unquote revenge game. It is a revenge game.
It's a revenge game, Pop. So yeah, Charvarius Ward had a fantastic season. 5 picks, led the league in pass deflections. He could potentially be on Rashee Rice, who's had a breakout year as a rookie. Could be on Travis Kelce. He makes a big play in this game defensively in the secondary. Things could change. Momentum shifts for the Niners' favor. Charvarius Ward is my player to watch defensively for the 49ers. How about it? Last thing before we go. Yeah. I swear. Score. You said Chiefs. What's your final score? On the spot, I'll say it first. I have the Chiefs over the 49ers in a relatively not close game. 27-14. Low-scoring Super Bowl.
31-23. Chiefs.
Okay.
What did you go with? I was thinking of my score while you were talking.
27-14. Very low-scoring game.
20. What did you say? Say it one more time.
27-14.
Got it. I'm 31-23. Okay. I don't know if you heard me.
Oh. Didn't hear you.
Want to say it again?
91-26. Got it.
Giants 77. Loser 0. We'll see you next time. You know what? It's actually kind of funny that producer Jeff just walked into this room and thought of a really good idea.
Good idea.
For maybe some things that we could do over the offseason to give us an excuse to get in a room every once in a while and talk some football. So
give us some ideas. Why not? Drop comments what you guys want to see. We appreciate you tuning out to the channel, watching us debate our power rankings, all the trivia.
Because the idea of this isn't to be like a podcast. I mean, we very much could put this on podcast apps. It's the idea of this isn't to be a podcast. The idea of it is to be a video where it's interactive and you get to see the power rankings. We go through the tiers and stuff like that. So I want to get out of here. So thank you for watching. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody that's stuck around with us this year.
Thanks, guys.
We'll hopefully be back next year, and we'll do what we do, and we're gonna do what we do on JM Football. So like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you for the last JM Power Rankings of this year. My name is Justin Penik. That is Dalton Philly. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.